I just made the biggest mistake you can ever make in chess and suffered so much because of that. I guarantee you're making exactly the same mistake in your games. So once you deal with it, you're gonna bring your chess to a completely new level. What's up, chess player, and welcome to the Journey to Grandmaster, the place where you can improve every single aspect of your chess game. And we are playing a game together. Now I'm gonna explain every single decision I'm gonna take along this game. My opponent is playing e4, that's the Sicilian defense, extremely sharp opening. Every time I play it, something very crazy is going to happen, so it's going to be very instructive for you. Let's see which variation my opponent is gonna choose. I'm playing here the e6 line. Of course, the main line is d4, but there are multiple options for white. Let's see what he's going for. Yeah, he's going for d4. In this case, of course, we take because we always want to fight for the center. And I really like this move a6 because that limits this knight's potential. There is absolutely no squares for the knight to go. And then it prepares the move b5. Just notice that this knight can also not use that b5 square. This bishop cannot use it, so a6 is basically grabbing that square away from all of white pieces here. And then I can just continue with the move b5. It depends on what white is doing, because after knight c3, that is a really good move. b4 is always on my agenda, but if they play bishop d3 instead, which is another opportunity, then b5 is considered to me not that great because, well, there is no knight to attack. Now my opponent spends another tempo though, so I achieved my goal. Like b5 is always a very good move for me because it opens up the diagonal for my bishop and at the same time creates a problem for white. So he played a3 to stop it. That means I basically played b5 for free in terms of tempo. Time is the most important resource in chess, and especially in the opening you want to develop all of your pieces as fast as possible. So far I haven't developed any of my pieces. I'm kind of breaking these rules so far, but now I'm gonna catch up. So I'm going to just play bishop to b7. This bishop is just a monster along this long diagonal that puts pressure on that pawn, that prepares the move d5 once I'm ready for it. I'm not sure, like knight f6 is definitely a type of a move I am considering, but of course I need to take a look at e5 and what's going to happen in this case. Maybe I'm going to start with bishop c5 instead. That is another typical move, another yeah, somehow putting pressure. Of course, the knight is protected just yet, but in the long run, that might be not that convenient for white to deal with it. Okay, he just castles. Maybe now just d6. All I want to do is bring all of my pieces into the game. Now knight f6 is coming. Okay, he's preparing some attack. That is, well, what you need to know about the Sicilian. It's so often incredibly sharp, and it's the question who is gonna be the first one to create a very dangerous threat. I hope it's going to be me, because, well, I haven't even castled yet. That is so essential in the Sicilian, because that gives you an advantage, for example, to do something aggressive like that. As long as my king is on the center and not on the king side, that's not that dangerous for me. Actually, in the center it might be even safer than there. Because if I play h4, he plays bishop to h4, then g5, bishop goes away, then I'm just grabbing that pawn on e4 completely for free. Even though I have weakened my king, I mean, that's an extra pawn, and also that would open up that bishop, that monster on b7. So I see, first of all, no reason not to play that, because if he takes, happy to grab it back, have a pair of bishops, beautiful bishops, I'm attacking the knight. Okay, he goes back. Now the question is, do I play g4? Like, why not? Yes, it might be a little bit dangerous, like in terms of some f4 ideas, and then opening up that f file. Of course, I can just continue with 97. I mean, that is a perfectly playable move here, then maybe considering queen to b6. And then I'm getting rid of the spin and the pawn is hanging again. But he's gonna play something like f3, knight b3, and then still the material is equal. I really want to play that. I don't see how he can punish me, at least directly. Maybe there are some ideas like takes, bishop f3, and then my bishop is hanging, and if I take it, then queen takes, my rook is hanging on a8 from this queen. And then if I play 97, there are some queen c no, but the knight is hanging on d4, and if you play knight c6, that's not a real problem, queen b6 or something. Or maybe rook c8. Yeah, I want to go for it. I always try to go for the most active opportunity in the position, so that is exactly what I'm doing here. Yeah, now I might notice what I have missed. Knight x4, knight x4, bishop takes e4, knight b3. Attacking my bishop, and if the bishop goes away, then d6 is going to be under attack. So I have to give up bishop's pair, which, yeah, might be not that convenient. But okay, now it's too late. Well, I still have a choice between bishop takes and knight takes, but because after bishop takes e4, knight takes e4, and knight takes e4, there is no way he's gonna save his bishop, so I'm gonna take it back. But I'm still not convinced by that, so I'm gonna take with the knight. Let's see if he's gonna be able to punish me. From his nickname, Bogochess 2011, I assume that is a very strong young chess player who is on his way to achieve his goals, just as I am right now on my journey to Grandmaster challenge. Hit the like button if you want to support me on this journey. It's very, very important. I mean, your support is what gives me this energy to go forward and never give up. Yeah, he goes for bishop f3. That is one of the moves that was available for him, and I assume the idea is to take with the queen, thanks to the fact that this rook on a8 is hanging. There is no time for me to grab the knight on d4. Do I have any alternative to takes? Maybe I can play d5, but that gives him this bishop e5 opportunity, unless I can play f6, which feels very, very dangerous. Yeah, no, I suppose that's not gonna work for me. Yeah, then the bishop is hanging, and then I really have to take. And then it might really be dangerous, because he brings all of his rooks, and he has quite a huge compensation there. So maybe I might regret my decision. In the Sicilian, you should always be careful with giving too much of a counterplay to your opponent, or too much of initiative. But okay, let me try to defend. Now show you my defensive skills, because sometimes in chess that just happens. You have to defend to the best of your ability. Always very important to bring all of your pieces into the defense, into the attack, whatever you are doing. The more pieces you have, the more chances you have to succeed with that. I said earlier that after knight c6, rook c8 might be the move. Of course, that doesn't make any sense because my queen is hanging. But hopefully this knight on d7 helps me to like cement everything. Oh, wow. That is something I didn't see. I still don't know what the idea, but it feels very scary. So I guess I have to take, otherwise I'm gonna be busted no matter what. So I don't really even have to calculate the variations. Like if f takes e loses, then I'm losing. There is no other way to go about it. Okay, e4 doesn't seem like something extremely dangerous. Like if it's the best that white has, then I might be not that afraid. So for example, I want to play bishop d4 and then bishop e5. The more pieces I exchange, of course, the simpler it gets for me. So let me play that. And he continues to sacrifice with the move bishop takes d6. Okay, because now that is a checkmate threat, so I have absolutely zero time for taking the rook after queen h5. I'm gonna regret my chess playing skills. Okay, so what about knight f6? I'm threatening to take there, and I'm threatening to take there. The problem is, of course, I'm not really threatening to take there because the rook is still hanging. Yeah, maybe it's more dangerous than I expected. Okay, of course, the main threat is to play queen h5, checkmate in 1. Knight a5, can that be a move? Queen h5 check, I have king to d7. Bishop takes, rook d1, and bishop d6. Rook takes, king takes, and then rook d1, and then at least that's not that perfect, although I get pair of rooks in the end of the day. Queen f6, the problem is... Wait, maybe it's not a big problem. Queen takes, in f7, the rook is protected, and then I'm attacking there. But he has queen b7, the knight is hanging, takes, and goes to g6, and what about the pawns? He has one extra. So basically I have a choice between knight f6 and queen to f6. Knight f5 feels too artificial. Although after queen h5, I also have the move knight to f7, just blocking that check, and that might work for me. If he takes, I just take it, rook d8. Feels dangerous, because my rook is still hanging. Queen to c8, let's say. Hopefully he doesn't have enough pieces. Yeah, 95 is the most active move in the position. That's why I really want to make it. So there I have knight f7 after queen h5, and there not that much of material left. Rook e1. Yeah, all of his rooks are going to be there, very, very aggressive. b4 or something. Yeah, I hope it's gonna work. At least I'm gonna get rid of that bishop. Maybe I should have just played knight f6, because I'm really threatening to take that bishop, right? Because queen takes, I can just go back. Although after rook d1 takes and takes, then after the queen's exchange, the bishop on d4 is going to be lost, and then I'm in exchange down, so that doesn't work. Okay, so I'm hoping for that. Oh, I'm just taking, I don't have any choice. Yeah, rook d1. I don't have any moves like that, because takes and then queen takes. So I have to go away with my queen. Queen c8 seems like the most reasonable option, although there is also queen to b8, but then queen c6 check. I'm not going to survive that. But this move is protecting a lot of stuff. h5. I haven't thought about this move. Doesn't feel like the most dangerous one because of just king a7, and then there are no checks. I mean, there is rook e1, I understand that, but now the queen is not attacking the rook. Now my major pieces are connected. I don't feel like queen to h5 is the best he could have achieved there. Now I just want to play bishop f6, just to cover as many squares as possible. e6 is protected, rook d6 is not possible. Queen g6 doesn't really create any threats. And of course, I want to stabilize everything. I want to bring my pieces. Rook d8 has an argument, but unfortunately the h6 pawn is hanging, and I'm not a big fan of losing it. But if I have like two moves, maybe just queen c6 and rook d8, that is my plan. I'm not sure if I can be too greedy with queen takes c2, doesn't feel right, like rook c1, rook c7, why on earth would I allow that? Rook d3. Yeah, that is a multi-purpose move, because rook e3 is coming and rook d1 is coming. I have to be prepared against both, but I guess I can play queen c6, queen c7, then after rook e3, just e5. Otherwise, I want to bring my rook to do the d8 square. Well, I really have an extra bishop. That's quite a huge advantage. Unless you have a very, very concrete threats against my king, I don't think you can justify it. But queen h5, I really feel that move spoiled his entire energy, his entire initiative. You are just uh, moving away with your queen. Yes, it's a check, but don't be confused by a check. It's not necessarily that if you see a check, you make a check, because the queen on s3 was actually more active, and I didn't have the connection between my rooks. And after queen h5 check and king a7, I got that connection. My king is actually more secured on e7 than it was on e8, so he made his position worse and made my position better with that check. So be very careful with checks. Only do it if it really helps you, not your opponent. Imagine how cool it would be to play chess without ever having opening troubles again. What if I told you I could teach you all openings you will ever need in just 10 days? You get lifetime access to more than 110 pure value video tutorials, almost 100 practical tasks to apply your knowledge immediately into practice, 30 plus bonus videos to dive 10 times deeper, as well as private community where all questions you might ever have are answered daily. Get the $200 limited time discount with the link in the description, and forget about all opening pain once and for all. Queen h3. Yeah, that is actually a good move. That is improving that that queen's position. Maybe I should have played queen c6 instead of queen c7, because yeah, now I'm gonna, after e5, I'm gonna have a lot of holes in my light squares, but hopefully it's still okay. Because rook d7 is covered. If he plays rook d1, I'm just in time to play rook d8. Yeah, somehow I feel some pressure. Maybe it's just ghosts, but he creates some threats. Okay, I guess I can do. I can play queen to d7 because exchange is basically a victory for me, and otherwise I'm winning the tempo to finally bring one of my rooks into the game. As long as I bring both of the rooks, the game is basically over. Just needs to win that time, or to free myself from those tempting moves from my opponent to make my development, to finish my development. Okay, I guess just rook c8 is fine. Rook d3, I have queen e6. Which... Ah, wait, there is queen b7. Oh my god, I completely blundered that. Maybe it's still not losing, because thank god I'm just protecting. Why on earth haven't I played queen to c6? That is just offering the queen's exchange for the second time. Yeah, I was too fast to make that move. Okay, maybe it's still not that bad. So I guess king f8. Everything is, or maybe king to e8, because then rook d7 is not possible. That is a very good argument. Because otherwise rook d7 is pretty annoying. Here the king is less secured, but that square is covered. Yeah, now the second rook is coming. Thank god d8 square is well protected. And I played that, queen c6. Rook d8, bishop takes, rook d8, king takes. Yeah, why not? Hope I'm not blundering again. That is why you never want to leave too little time on your clock, because you're risking to blunder something like that. Okay, queen a7. Can I just continue with rook a8? Or is there something I'm missing? Well, he can just escape, but then I'm gonna get another tempo. Or maybe after queen a7, I should just play rook d8. Because at least if I exchange one pair of rooks, it's going to be simpler for me. Because rook d7 is still coming, and rook d7 is not a move we're happy to see. Yeah, so let me play that. The more stuff I exchange, the simpler it gets. Rook takes, bishop. Might be blundering the rook there. Yeah, if he takes twice now. Okay, he doesn't go for it. Or no, maybe it doesn't change anything. Queen c7, rook takes, queen f5. Yeah, but I can just escape. Everything is protected. So queen c7 seems to be the move. Rook takes, queen takes. I just escaped the checks. That's fine for me. Otherwise, yeah, queen a8. That doesn't seem to be that dangerous. Although that is definitely a move he should make. Maybe I can play king f7. Queen d5 check, king g7. Yeah, queen e6 and rook d7 is very, very annoying. Okay, I don't have any time. Let me play king to e7 then. Because I still cover all of that and I want to play rook e8. That's something I forgot. I desperately want to exchange the queens. Oh, wait. There is rook d7 coming. Yeah, I lost the control completely. But why can't I play rook f8? Yeah, I'm losing yet another pawn. That is, of course, tough. The more pawns I lose, the more weaken the more I weaken my entire pawn structure. They really hope to at least escape the checks and stabilize the situation. That is the most important thing for me. Yeah, bishop is now hanging. Queen c8. Yeah, I completely lost the control. Now I guess he at least has a draw. My only chance is that if he decides to play for the win. Yeah, that's what I struggle with a lot of times. That my position is very good, but then I allow my opponent too much counterplay. In this case, it was a concrete tactical blunder, unfortunately. I shouldn't have played that fast. I still had 1 minute on my clock, and I should have just spent a little bit of that time to see that move from my opponent. Yeah. So can I take on f2 and try to... Okay, he goes for continuing the game. That's good for me. Maybe I don't have time, unfortunately. Hope that works, right? Because there is a back rank problem for him, so he cannot grab my bishop. Otherwise, I can just go away with the bishop or come back with the rook. Absolutely no time, but now I have this diagonal. I don't want to blunder rook d7, definitely. Now finally I'm stabilizing. Checks are over, and I'm threatening now checkmate of my own. That's not a joke. Okay, c5. Yeah, time to bring my bishop somewhere. Okay, c7. Now I even want to play e4 and maybe bring my bishop. No, I should have given a check first. That is much better. Okay, I haven't really calculated that. I thought that I'm winning automatically in the endgame. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Because his pawns are very, very dangerous, and I forgot to give that check. That is my problem. Now the king is much better placed. Yeah. Maybe just losing for me. Unfortunately, I don't have any time to figure out what's going on. We play 3. Yeah, I missed it again. I shouldn't have exchanged the queens. Oh no! I have absolutely no idea what's going on. Yeah, probably I'm just losing. Down. Should have played that immediately because now, no, wait, that doesn't help either. Wow, that is a fantastic game. Let's take a look at the review of the game together to find out my mistakes. So here you had 70% accuracy. That's just a horrible game. I mean, I've made so many blunders here. Let's see what happens, starting with the most critical things here. So I thought I played pretty good in the beginning, but yeah, here d6 is a mistake. I should have just played knight c6, just bring another piece. Yeah, that's very logical. I guess in a normal game I would do it, but I wanted to take advantage of my opponent playing that weirdly, and 96 is actually a blunder. Yeah, I felt like either I'm just losing immediately, but once he played b4, I thought, well, it cannot be that bad. I have an extra piece. Knight e5 is a blunder. That is hugely changing the evaluation of the position. It is much better for me if I just play knight to b6. Yeah, that makes sense. Knight to b6, just protecting that, attacking that, and queen h5 is also not a problem anymore. And also 95 would be there for me when I need to block that file. Yeah, that is That is now pretty simple, but during the game I haven't even thought about it. So yeah, 95 was a blunder, and here I'm in big trouble. Actually, the right move was just rook a to e1. Yeah, because the bishop is hanging, the rook is hanging, and I have no way to deal with boss and white is winning. I absolutely missed that. Here, yeah, like I said, queen h5 was a huge mistake. Like rook f to e1, white is still a little bit better, though I have some chances. But after queen h5, it's becoming close to winning for black. Bishop f6, rook d3, queen c7 is not the best move. Yeah, queen c6, like I said, just to defend that. But even queen c7 is okay. e5, I'm doing fantastic here, just bringing all of the pieces. Wow, queen a6 is actually the best move in the position. Yeah, I still think that queen c6 was much simpler, not given those chances. And then after queen to b7 check, I was very frustrated. I thought I'm in trouble, but basically the engine says, no, it's -3. It's completely winning for you. Queen c6 is the right move. And here rook d8 shouldn't have been played. Rook c7 instead. Yeah, I was thinking about rook c7. I guess I have even mentioned it, but somehow I was too afraid of leaving all of those rooks. Here I shouldn't have done that. And here after queen b8, it's still, of course, completely winning for me. But somehow I have lost the balance here. Queen takes c2, but that is not a move you want to make when you don't have enough time. And it's such a complicated position. Queen b6, queen c8, queen back, and then yeah, somehow he takes another pawn. It's already equal. He's still creating a lot of threats. Here there was a moment where he could have just forced a draw, but he decided to play for win, and turns out he was right about it. Okay. I thought rook takes f2 is a clever move, but with the seconds on the clock, I didn't see that after takes and queen c5, he can just win the rook back, and then he has a lot of extra pawns. Yeah, and here I'm better again. I have stabilized everything, and of course, I'm just destroying him here. I mean, it's -6. Why on earth would I need to exchange the queens in this position? That is the question. Just queen f2 immediately was winning, and if e4 afterwards, yeah, that is a very normal plan. Then if I need, I can play bishop f6. Otherwise, just e3, e2. That is completely unstoppable. But for some reason, I went for the queen exchange. That is the worst thing you can do here. Just queen f2 and e4. Yeah, e4. The pawn is unstoppable because of queen f1, and then that's checkmate. Queen f4. I just automatically thought, like, I have an extra bishop, so queen's exchange is okay for me. I completely forgot about the fact that he has 3 connected passers here, and the fact that they are so strong and they are coming so fast, and with the seconds of the clock, I just missed everything. Okay, here I can still continue the game if I play bishop a5. Yeah, bishop a5 is actually very interesting because that really creates that threat and it goes away from the pawns, and at least it's not that simple to promote it. Because if you think about it, if you play c6, then I control all the pawns. If you play b6, then how do you continue? c6 is not possible, I take the pawn, b7 is not possible, I control that square. So it's still not that possible. Not that easy for white, even though, of course, white is much better here. Maybe rook, maybe e4 is just too fast. King f6 to be the right move. Yeah, so that was still a chance for me, but here it seems like he's just winning and don't have any moves at all. I tried a few tricks, but the game is over. White is winning. Well, that's life. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's completely fine. It's just important to analyze the game, to understand your mistakes, and to never repeat it again. This game, though, I have played much better against Stockfish 2600 rated level. That was a fantastic game, so that you can learn so much out of it.